In a USDA research lab in Beltsville, Maryland in 1990, a scientist noticed something in his data that didn't make sense. He was testing common kitchen spices for their effect on insulin function in human cells. When his bay leaf samples came back, the numbers were so unusual that he ran the experiment again. Then a third time. Bay leaves, the ones sitting in your spice drawer right now, the ones you toss into soup and fish out later, appeared to be doing something to insulin that almost no one had documented before. That single observation started a research thread that 18 years later would produce one of the most overlooked clinical trial results in nutritional science. And when you pair those bay leaves with one more ingredient, an ingredient that scored higher on the USDA's antioxidant scale than any other spice on earth, you get a combination worth taking seriously. If you've been dealing with bloating, blood sugar swings, morning stiffness, or just that feeling of being slightly off, give me the next 9 minutes. By the end, you'll know something about these two ingredients that most health writers online get completely wrong.
Here's what happened with that bay leaf research. A clinical trial led by Dr. Alam Khan, published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition in 2009, divided 40 people with type 2 diabetes into 4 groups. Each received 1, 2, or 3 grams of ground bay leaves per day, or a placebo, for 30 days. The numbers were striking. Across all 3 bay leaf groups, fasting blood glucose dropped between 21 and 26%. Total cholesterol fell 20 to 24%. LDL cholesterol dropped 32 to 40%. And HDL, the protective kind, rose by 29% in the 1-gram group, from a dried leaf that costs less than $1 for a packet. One clinical trial is not the last word on any subject, and bay leaves are not a substitute for medication or a real conversation with your doctor. But the data is peer-reviewed, the chemistry is being studied right now, and almost nobody outside that small research community has ever heard of it. Cloves are stranger than most people realize. They're not seeds, they're not fruits, they're dried flower buds picked from a tree on the Maluku Islands of Indonesia, harvested before the bud ever opens. 1 teaspoon of ground cloves contains about 55% of your daily manganese, a mineral your body needs to build connective tissue and produce antioxidant enzymes. The compound responsible for most of cloves' biological activity is called eugenol, which makes up 70 to 90% of clove essential oil. On the USDA's Oxygen Radical Absorbance Scale, cloves scored 314,446, higher than cinnamon at 267,536, higher than oregano, higher than turmeric, higher than every other common kitchen spice ever formally tested. Eugenol also does something most antioxidants don't. It interferes with 2 specific inflammatory pathways called COX-2 and NF-κB, the same pathways pharmaceutical anti-inflammatories influence through different mechanisms and at different intensities.
When you put bay leaf and clove together in one pot, you bring 2 different chemical families into contact, the 1,8-cineol in bay leaves and the eugenol in cloves. A 2024 study in Veterinary Sciences demonstrated that these 2 compounds work together more strongly than either alone in lab testing. The implications for daily human use are still being researched, but the fact that this exact combination shows up in traditional preparations across the Mediterranean, India, and Southeast Asia is not a coincidence. But most preparation methods fall apart at this point. Throwing a bay leaf into boiling water for 2 minutes pulls out almost nothing useful. The eucalyptol and linalool in bay leaves are oil-soluble and partially volatile. They need gentle heat, time, and a covered pot to release properly. A fast, hard boil sends those compounds straight into the steam and out your kitchen window. And if you use clove powder instead of whole cloves, you lose a major portion of the eugenol to oxidation before water even touches the spice. Whole, fresh cloves are not optional. They're the entire point.
Here's the method that actually works. You need 4 dried whole bay leaves, ideally Mediterranean bay laurel, Laurus nobilis, 4 whole cloves, 2 cups of water. Bring the water to a boil. Drop the heat to the lowest simmer setting. Tear or crush each bay leaf slightly before dropping it in. That exposes more surface area and improves extraction. Add the cloves, cover the pot. This single step is the difference between a useful preparation and a cup of flavored warm water. The lid traps the volatile aromatic compounds and lets them condense back into the liquid instead of evaporating. Simmer covered for 15 minutes at the lowest heat. Turn off the burner, leave the lid on another 5 minutes while it rests. Strain and drink it warm, about 15 to 20 minutes before breakfast. That timing puts the compounds in your digestive system right when your first meal arrives.
Joan, a retired teacher in Phoenix, started this routine after reading the bay leaf research. She wasn't trying to fix anything dramatic. She just wanted to feel less heavy after meals. 3 weeks in, the bloating she'd accepted as normal for years had clearly reduced. Her mornings felt steadier. She wasn't drinking it as medicine. She was drinking it as a slow ritual she actually looked forward to. Her experience is one person's story, not a clinical result, but it lines up with what the research suggests about digestive and metabolic support. In 2019, a pilot study in BMC complementary medicine and therapies tested a polyphenol-rich clove extract on healthy and pre-diabetic volunteers for 30 days. Postprandial glucose, your blood sugar 2 hours after a meal, dropped by 21.5% in healthy participants and 27.2% in those with prediabetes. The researchers identified 3 mechanisms: improved glucose uptake into muscle cells, reduced glucose production in liver cells, and slower enzyme activity that breaks carbohydrates into sugar. That 3-pathway action is what makes researchers pay attention. The sample size was small, but the effect showed up within 12 days of supplementation.
Marcus, 64, a retired contractor in Asheville, had stopped his morning walks because his knees took the better part of an hour to loosen up. He added the bay leaf and clove preparation to his routine for a month. The stiffness didn't disappear, but that first hour of the morning, the one he used to dread, became easier. He started walking his dog again. His doctor told him there was no harm in his habit and that low-grade inflammation is genuinely shaped by daily choices, including what's in your morning cup. Now, the safety conversation other videos skip. Eugenol has mild blood-thinning properties. If you take warfarin, apixaban, or any anticoagulant, talk to your doctor before making this a daily habit. If you're pregnant, stick to normal cooking quantities and skip the concentrated preparation unless your physician approves it. If you have GERD or acid reflux, concentrated clove can irritate the esophagus. Reduce the clove count or stop if you notice any burning. And one detail almost no one mentions: some bay leaves sold in American grocery stores are actually California bay laurel, Umbellularia californica, not the Mediterranean Laurus nobilis. They look similar, but California bay contains a compound called umbellulone that has been documented in research to trigger headaches and migraines in sensitive people. The leaves are noticeably stronger and more eucalyptus-like in scent. If you're prone to headaches, check your label. The bay leaves used in the actual clinical research are Laurus nobilis. That's the species you want in your pot.
One more thing worth knowing, because almost nobody connects these dots. Linalool, one of the secondary aromatic compounds in bay leaves, has been studied for its effect on GABA-A receptors in the brain, the same receptors pharmaceutical anti-anxiety medications target. A 2018 study in Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience showed that linalool's calming effects in mice were completely reversed when researchers gave the animals flumazidil, the drug emergency rooms use to counter benzodiazepine overdoses. The doses in a kitchen preparation are nowhere close to pharmaceutical levels, and inhalation matters more than ingestion for this pathway. But the chemistry is real. It's part of why a warm, aromatic cup before bed has been a wind-down ritual across cultures for centuries. A reasonable rhythm looks like this: 5 days on, 2 days off. Morning preparation about 20 minutes before breakfast.
If the flavor is too strong, add a slice of fresh ginger or a piece of cinnamon stick to the simmer. A drizzle of raw honey after straining is fine. Skip table sugar. It works directly against the metabolic benefit you're after. Bay leaves and cloves are not medicine. They're not going to fix a serious condition, and if you have one, your doctor is the person you need. What they are is two of the most overlooked ingredients in your kitchen, with real peer-reviewed research behind them and a price tag close to zero. If this gave you something useful, hit the like button. It helps this kind of honest, evidence-based content reach more people who actually need it. And in the comments, tell me, have you used bay leaves or cloves outside of cooking? I read every single one.